views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users. On demand on iTunes, on demand on YouTube, on demand on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you're encouraged to post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not. I am very pleased to say that there's been a very vibrant discussion recently on the issues posted on the blog, and I appreciate your participation. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio. We're syndicated to an additional 12 million households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. I welcome you to the show. Well, President Obama just went on a scheduled trip, his first as president overseas, to Europe and to Turkey, and then unscheduled, or at least not on his public schedule for security reasons, he went and he had a little tete-a-tete with the troops in Iraq. I was kind of pleasantly surprised at the reception that he got in Iraq, because it seems that those troops are happy that he is their commander-in-chief now, perhaps because he's talking about bringing them home, at least from that theater of war. It was an interesting time, and all the pundits that I have been listening to and reading seem to give him high marks, including most of the Republican political observers, but not all. There are some who are saying, wait a minute, he should have been here taking care of the economy. There was a major faux pas with the Queen of England. There was a minor faux pas with the Prime Minister of England, and they didn't like what he had to say when he went to Turkey about the United States not being at war with Islam, ever or never. By the way, just let me say, as an aside about that part of his trip, that I believe was the position of the previous president of the United States, George W. Bush, who I do believe was a Republican. Anyway, the man the Republicans love to hate, Alan Jacey, our political correspondent, is here to give us his assessment of the Obama trip to Europe, Turkey, and Iraq. Alan, take it away.
Yeah, hi, Gary. Thank you. And hello, good evening, everyone. Well, in many ways, I have to agree with my colleagues on the right. The president, certainly while the perception is that he had a great trip, and he did on one major thing, I think he really did restore a lot of luster to the office of the presidency in the eyes of the foreign leaders that certainly attended the G20 conference. He was well received by them. He got high marks from them. He solved some minor spats that were going on between Sarkozy of France and Hu of China, and that's not a joke. His name is the premier of China is Hu. He certainly garnered a lot of goodwill back towards America, which was certainly lost in the last 7 years of the previous administration, since the United States launched the war in Iraq. That being said, did he accomplish a lot in terms of getting the things he needed? No. In terms of Afghanistan, which has been a war that NATO has been involved with, he only got 5,000 additional troops. And most of those are really security forces to either train the Afghanis, the police particularly, or as security for the August presidential elections in Afghanistan. So did he accomplish getting more troops for this mission? No. Can it be seen as a failure? Uh, Depends. At least he got 5,000. That's better than nothing. He did have a good meeting with Medvedev at the G20 talking about nukes. That's a good thing. At least while we're talking, he got to meet Medvedev for the first time, and again, we still don't know how much Medvedev has to say because of Vladimir Putin still at least in the belief of most of us in the world, Putin still controls Russia. So we'll have to see how far those go. But at least they had a good meeting, and while they're talking, it's a good start. Gary, some of those faux pas that you pointed out with the Queen of England and with Gordon Brown, Prime Minister of England, okay, that's one thing you can say. I mean, let's face it, Obama, was his first time on the international stage as the president of this country, and he made a few rookie mistakes, as he did bowing to the King of Saudi Arabia in some people's minds. So you can say that was a rookie mistake as well. Is it the end of the world as we know it? Well, no. He's come back, though. In this country, his approval ratings have gone up since this trip ended, so that's a good thing for President Obama, and certainly for the perception of this country about the leadership that they have in the White House right now. So I think that was important, that the American public certainly seemed to believe that Obama did a good job in the trip over there. Some additional things that can be perceived as by the right, in that what he did say, that we are not at war with Islam. Well, again, I agree. We're not at war with Islam. We're at war with a faction of terrorists, and they happen to be of the Muslim faith, but I don't believe that they practice their faith the way the Quran lays it out. So we shall see where that leads. I do say that he did well, Obama, in the town hall meetings that he held in Turkey, that he held in France. So he spoke to the people. He looked comfortable. And again, he garnered a lot of goodwill. I think there's a lot more of a perception about that the U.S. Is back as a credible leader, and that the president is somebody that people around the world can admire. They did not feel that way towards former President Bush. So I think that